Hey, it's great to be with you guys live here on LinkedIn. So it's been a while, been a little hectic with a whole bunch of things going on, but we have some great news that just was released, I guess, on Business Wire. So if you go Google Becker Logistics and just look at news, you'll see the new news that came out in regards to us hiring our CFO last year. And it's fantastic news. And Tim's done a great job of helping us with an acquisition last year and M&A side, as well as really just helping us as we move forward into the new world. So, I really wanted to take a moment here and talk about what if people aren't open to different perspectives, right? We all get stuck into these ways of really viewing the world from our perspective. Now, what if people aren't open to this kind of change and openness? What if they just want to stick with what they know and not change at all? And if you lead for long enough, you are going to see this time and time again. It's going to happen each and every time, no matter where you're at, because everybody sees things from their own perspective, and they tend to not really open themselves up to other areas. And that's just a given, right? And I can find myself doing it from time to time. At some point, you are going to run into someone who is less open to others' opinions. They may approach things more, I don't know, cynically, or will be stubborn to change, even because it just means something else for them to do, right? Or they can say, well, that's busy work, or this is going on, or you want me to do that? But see, we all have to understand that there's times that we have to go through one milestone, one crucible, or learn something else that opens or broadens our perspective as we go forward. And most of us aren't able to see that. And I catch myself doing it too, just from that human technology of who we are as humans. While this can be a challenge for each one of you, it's an opportunity to lead by example. See, you can demonstrate what it looks like to embrace different perspectives, and you can show what happens when someone opens up a dialogue to communicate, right? Handling difficult conversations, training yourself to hear other perspectives has another benefit as well. You see, it can make dealing with different, or let's put it, difficult conversations much more productive. Whether it's a difficult guest or customer or an employee, seeing different perspectives can really help you step outside of your personal concepts or personal conceptions of how things should be or shall be. You can step outside to recognize when something is wrong, when you might normally get defensive. Developing the skill can make you a much better leader. See, I call it this little gap. This gap is kind of like between my conscious mind and my subconscious mind. So there's, my conscious mind is what's going on right now in the perspective of everything, the cumulative of what's really going on. And then my subconscious is kind of like my governor that's saying, yeah, this is right, this is wrong, this is different, this is never done before, right? So as I go into that, it gives us that gap to say, before my subconscious kicks in and hijacks me, I can go ahead and choose freely without any conditions or considerations. I can really make a decision what's best for the whole team, right? Try challenging yourself. Pick up an upcoming project and bring a diverse group of individuals together to collect feedback. How are they seeing it? We do a lot of this with surveys, surveying each and every one of our employees. Actively seek out different perspectives. When you listen to and represent others' voices, they're much more likely to engage with an open mind. And that's how we all learn. We really do. So how do we keep that going as we're moving forward? Well, as we're talking about the differences on perspectives, how people perceive things, the different leads, breakouts in communication, the sales, the business in general, I mean, we're all dealing with it. And we all have our own perspective. There's a lot more to discuss in the world, but some of us, there is still a long way to go, particularly in the workplace. So how do you approach this open discussion in the workplace and significantly affect collaboration, morale, and productivity, especially if you are a manager or a leader within an organization? How do you bring that out? Are you actively seeking to learn from others with different opinions and different experiences and different backgrounds? And if not, what valuable ideals and perspectives could be missing out on each and every day? Hearing different perspectives that challenge our own, right? And the great benefits that come along with that. Let me tell you why. Why is it so important to really do this? Well, the benefits of seeing a different perspective. Let's start off with the benefits of seeing a different perspective than our own. We're all naturally drawn towards something. And we're all different people in this human world. We draw to people who understand us and have the same perspective as us as well. But hearing different opinions has multiple benefits. It makes everyone feel heard and understood. But it also helps us broaden how we think about things and how we approach problems. Now, just because we can see another's point of view does not necessarily mean we agree with them, but it does allow us better understanding them, their decisions, and allows for open communication. Who doesn't want open communication as we're moving forward? But sometimes it's not easy to hear different opinions, especially if there are direct challenging to what you stand as your own. But it's important to fight any defensiveness that often comes when a change or perspective is different than your own. The benefits will always outweigh the initial discomfort. The key is not to view a difference in opinion as an attack. Yeah, because that's what happens. We get hijacked and our subconscious says that this is an attack and we got to be defensive on this. See, the difference between feedback and valuing different perspectives is so important. We have only lived in our own world. So we may have our own experiences to draw from, unless we're open to hearing and encouraging other perspectives as well. We may never know how experiences or skill sets really are, right? And that we could be the very thing we need to solve the problem. Let's look at an example. Say you are in a meeting about a new project. Yeah. So such as let's use a learning program or training course. The people that are in the meeting may not use the program themselves. They may have never even seen it. They're not the target. They're not our target audience. They may create an excellent course for people at their skills or the experience level, but it could be completely a miss. Yeah, you ever miss the mark for the people that are taking the course? See, it may not be useful for people with lesser experience or completely different skill set. For example, you need to get everyone up to speed. Maybe you should start the course at step A instead of starting at step C. How often have we done that and we're wondering why it's not being communicated properly? See, the outcome you want for your course is to bring Well, it may not happen the way that you want it if we're not really putting our time and effort into it, or if we're selecting different people that maybe not even using it. In this case, try seeking an outside perspective. It could help you create a course that fits the needs of those actually consuming the information. See, I've done this with my wife and brought her through the whole onboarding process to really give me true feedback of what our onboarding process actually looked like. It was pretty interesting because she said the company's completely different and this is what it's like now. See, there are no stupid questions, only different perspectives. See, you have to understand we're all different, and that's great. That's what makes humanity humanity. Have you ever been in a certain event where someone makes a comment or asks a question intended as a joke, and the audience or the moderator casually laughs it off? See, in these situations, it happens. Well, so what would happen if instead of disregarding it, we nurtured it? We nurture the conversation and open up an actual dialogue. Maybe you could say something like, tell me more about that. Or why do you think that? Encourage them to speak their mind and share their thoughts openly without judgment. When something like this actually happens, you will likely notice that the energy in the room changes. It changes pretty quickly. The moderator has decided to create a safe space where people could feel more open and with the dialogue and talking freely. When people know others won't be ridiculed for stupid questions, they will be much more open to sharing in that dialogue. When people are comfortable in sharing their own thoughts and experiences, everyone wins. What if people aren't open to different perspectives? Now, this does happen. It really does. What if people aren't open to this type of change and openness? What if the intimacy level is muted? What if they just wanted to stick with what they know and not change at all? And if you lead for long enough, you're going to see this time and time again. It's going to happen. That's just a given for today's time. At this point, you are going to run into someone who is less open to others' opinions. They may approach things more cynically, or they're going to be that stubborn type of person. It just happens. And see, while this can be a challenge, like I said before, it's an opportunity to lead by that example. And you can demonstrate this of what it looks like by embracing these different perspectives that everybody has. See, their perspective isn't necessarily wrong. You can make it wrong because it doesn't match your opinion, but take these in. This is where I've been able to grow exponentially by seeing other people's perspectives or seeing what's missing. We all have this, and giving other people an opportunity to actually share this. So let's get into this a little bit. So how do we really work on ourselves? Training yourself to hear others' perspectives has another benefit as well. And if we can make that a regular routine for ourselves, we can make dealing with difficult conversations much more productive. Whether it's a guest or a customer, like I mentioned before, you can step outside and recognize something different. And maybe when something is wrong, when you might be right. So try challenging yourself and pick up an upcoming project, whatever your next upcoming project is, and bring in a diverse group of individuals together and collect that feedback. Try surveys, like I mentioned before. Actively seek out different perspectives. When you listen to and represent others' voices, they are much more likely to engage with an open-minded individual. Then that's how we all learn. We really do. So let's just see if there's any comments or questions that are coming across. And I do see we do have you ever dealt with someone that was too entrenched in their own view to have an open conversation? This happens. Some people will get so stuck into the way that something has to be, the way that they've always done it, and they feel secure on that, and they stick with that. What I ask you and challenge you to do is step out of your perspective, your viewpoint, where it's happening over here, where you are, and go over to where they're at. Look around. What's it feel like? What's the temperature like? What past representations could they have? Ask deeper questions. Dig down into that and hear from where they're at, and be there, not over here where you disagree with that or even agree with it, right? Be over there, especially when you disagree. See what they see and live in their water, walk in their moccasins, and see what they see. Trust me, a lot can come out of this. Next question. This is from Sandy. Thanks, Sandy. It is always a good idea when you get heated to take a little break. And that's so true. Take a little break. Sleep on it even, and then respond from that space of calm rather than heated, right? Thanks, Sandy. So, and that's so important when we're moving forward into things. Remember how I told you about the conscious mind to the subconscious mind, building that gap, right? See, I have values that I lead by, that I be by each and every day. So those are my filters, like having integrity and being authentic of who I am, being cause in the matter, or taking on things larger than myself. So when I'm looking at things through that, I'm not going to sabotage things, because the bigger picture is bigger than the small little battle that may be brewing. How do we get through that? Give yourself that moment. Sandy, that was fantastic how you put that together. Have you dealt with someone? Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got that. So let's see. There are no more questions. It's great. So thank you both for that. So in conclusion, let's wrap this up. When we look at this and hear and embrace others' perspectives with an open mind, right? We need to be open-minded. When you have a group of people with different levels of experience, each person can bring different questions, different thoughts, and recommendations. And if you guys know each other well enough, that intimacy level gets so great. And what you can get the best result and move the bottom line each and every time. When you learn about each other's backgrounds or history, you build a human relationship that creates empathy for each other, and hopefully maintains a productive and respectful workplace as we move forward. I mean, that's so crucial. So I want to thank you guys for really tuning in. Thank you for really sharpening your saw. This information that I gathered to put together for you guys is free. Like, get this information, see how this is showing up for you throughout the week, in your work week, in your relationships, in your personal life. How does that happen? How about you having a different perspective with your spouse, your partner, your children? Well, listen, I want to thank you very much for being here. Leave a comment, please share, like, and thank you so much. I will see you guys next week. God bless. Have a great week. Thanks. Bye-bye.